666. Today I'm going to talk about this fascinating and mysterious number. And I'm going to explain you what it means. For sure, it has to do with the end time, with our future. It has to do with you and me. But first, let me ask you a question. What do a passport have to do with the key of a car? Of course, you will say both as necessary if you want to travel. But there's more than that. There's something very scary in my passport. In mine, it's written, this passport contains sensitive electronics. Like the key of the car, this is an electronic device. And that's very concerning. And I'm going to show you in that video why it is. Assalamu alaikum. 666 in the Quran. Well, let me start with a text taken from the Surah 47, Muhammad, verse 18. What are they waiting for except for the hour to come upon them suddenly? Their signs are already there. What purpose do warnings serve if it's already happening? What purpose do warnings serve if it's already happening? That's a good question. A warning should come beforehand. And the Quran warns us about something that's going to happen in the last time, but it's going to happen suddenly. What is that? We know from the Quran and from the Bible that the time of the end will be announced with certain signs, like a wrong Messiah, Masih Dajjal, famines, wars, epidemics, a lot of knowledge increasing, selfishness, and one of them is the beast coming from the earth. In the last episode, I have shown you that the beast from the earth is not only just a major sign of the end of the time, but it's named by name in the Bible. Let's read another text from the Quran. An-Naml, this is the Surah 27. When the command is issued against them, we'll bring forth a beast from the earth that will speak to them, because people are uncertain about our signs. The beast from the earth is going to speak. Why? Because people are not certain about the signs of the times. God gives an explanation to the sign of the times through the beast coming from the earth. That's all what the Quran says about the beast coming from the earth. The Hadith add a couple of details, like, for example, Sahih Muslim, the hour will come until you see 10 signs, and one of them is the Dajjal, and another one is the beast from the earth. It means that the Dajjal and the beast from the earth come in the end of the time. Ibn Kathir says that the appearance of the beast is one of the great signs of the times. Of course, this is something very special. But what does it mean? Many people discuss about this. If you look at internet, you will find people saying the beast coming from the earth is artificial intelligence. Some would say this is a robot or a specific political system, or maybe a huge dinosaur, or maybe a huge dinosaur who is going to appear at the end of the time, etc. Those interpretations have no basis. We can only understand this text through another source that explains exactly who the beast from the earth is. And we have talked last time about this, so I recommend you to look at the episode called America in the Quran. Yes, the Bible describes America as being the beast coming from the earth. Back to the Hadith. The beast will mark people. Believers and unbelievers will be identified. That's what Ibn Kathir says. And that's an important detail. The mark of the beast will separate believers from non-believers. Very interesting. Tirmidhi adds, the beast will mark people until one say, believer or unbeliever. So here, it's about the separation of humanity in two groups. Those who follow God and those who do not follow God. It has to do with obedience. Let's read the text from the Bible talking about the beast from the earth. Revelation chapter 13. I'll start with verse 11. I saw another beast coming up out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. This is the second beast. It means that there's a first beast. Indeed, chapter 13 of Revelation starts with another beast, a beast coming from the sea. When we look at this animal, it has the same characteristic as the little horn we have in the Torah in Daniel 7. In a former episode, I talked about Masih Dajjal, about the Antichrist. And we have identified the Antichrist, the little horn of Daniel 7, with the Catholic system. Again, it's not about Catholic believers. I believe that God has many sincere believers in the Catholic Church. It's about an anti-Christian system that is described in the Bible, coming from Rome at a certain period of time, fighting against those who are faithful to God, blaspheming God, and we know that the Pope, for example, calls himself Papa, Father. He pretends being able and legitimated to forgive sins, what only God can do. That's blasphemy, and that's what is described in Daniel chapter 7. In Revelation 13, there's a new element. This first beast gets a deadly wound. It's about to die. And then the wound is healed. Daniel 7 gives us the exact time of the power of the church. 1,260 years. This matches exactly with the beginning of papacy as a political system, 538, until 798, when Napoleon sends the general of his army to Rome and take the Pope prisoner, and that's the end of the Catholic political power. But then in 1929, Mussolini in Italy gives back to Rome all its authority, and from that moment the church has become more and more important on the political scene. I remember one day I was in Moscow in the Kremlin, and there was a meeting of all the ambassadors. So all the vehicles of the ambassadors were parked, and number one was, guess whom? The Vatican. Vatican is always number one. Why? If it's only a religious power concerning a quarter or maybe a fifth of humanity. Let's continue to read the text. Talking about the second beast, it is said he exercised the power of the first beast, Catholic system, and received his commands. It caused all the inhabitants of the earth to worship and adore the first beast, the Catholic system, whose wound has been healed. It means that the second beast, America, appears in the 20th century and brings the whole world to obey the Catholic system. That sounds completely insane, but let's continue and see how the text continues. This second beast performed great signs. It even caused fire to come down from heaven to the earth in full view of the people. At the command of the first beast, the second beast deceived the people through such signs. It ordered them to erect an image in honor of the first beast, which had been mortally wounded by the sword and then had come back to life. But that was not all. It even managed to breathe life into the image. It began to speak and demanded that anyone who did not honor and worship it, the first beast, be killed. The second beast called everyone, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. Without this mark, no one can buy or sell. And this mark is the name of the beast, written in letters or numbers. To understand this, the number of the beast, wisdom is needed. Anyone with insight and understanding can figure out what the number of the beast means. Behind it lies a person. It is the number 666. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in this text. Let's go back point by point. The second beast coming from the earth in the 20th century bring the whole world to obedience to the Catholic system. But the whole world doesn't see that because it doesn't worship the Catholic system, but the image of the system. What this image is going to be the next topic. But what's important for us today is that the whole world will receive a mark on the hand or on the front. Without that mark, nobody can buy or sell. It's a kind of persecution. It's an economical boycott. This is something I could not understand until I went to Canada. The first time I went to Canada, I drove on the highway and had to pay a toll. But this toll was taken from my credit card without me stopping, and that was new. Today we know that this happens all around the world. When I was in Kenya, in Nairobi, every 100 meters there was a light, tack, tack, as if I drove too fast. And people explained me that every 100 meters, the government tracks where my car is. So the city knows exactly who is driving from where to where. How much we are tracked today, it's unbelievable. And that's the explanation to the passport with the electronic side. Again, it's written in that passport. This passport contains sensitive electronics. And the question is, why? Why do we have these biometrical measures of our eyes? Why do we need a credit card for everything and a PIN? Even in India, you want to buy a coconut on the market, you need an app. You need to scan a QR code and then you can buy the coconut. If you don't have that, no coconut. And this does not just mean that Big Brother is tracking us. It means that our bank account could be closed, that we have no access to internet or to facilities or to what we need to live in this world. What is going to happen, I don't know, but I think that we can imagine that it's possible today that someday, if you don't obey the system, you will not be able to buy or to sell. But why is there this number 666 at the end? And what does it mean? The Bible says this is the number of a person, of somebody. And we know that in the ancient languages, we have numerical values of the letters. I would be 1, V would be 5 in Latin, for example. We have the same in Greek and Hebrew. And if we take the name of the Pope in Latin, Vicarius Feli, Dei, the representative of the Son of God, in Greek, Latinos, or in Hebrew, Romanus, we always add up the values and we come to 666. So the Bible tells us exactly who is in charge of what, even though the Catholic system seems to be behind the curtain. America is acting as moving the whole world into one direction, and what is important for us is that we remain faithful to God, that we believe in Him and that we trust Him, that if we are faithful, He is going to keep us, to protect us, and to give us enough to survive until persecution is finished. And then Jesus will come again and we'll be with Him forever. I recommend you to watch the videos I did on the Antichrist, on the beast coming from the earth, to understand better what I said today. And next time we're going to talk about the image of the beast. So don't forget to subscribe, to raise your thumb, to recommend this video. And I say for today, peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum.